Welcome back to the lab, folks. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to test this out using my NanoVNA. I don't get to use this much, so I'll discuss that as we're going along here. So this is the little splitter, resistive splitter that I made in the last video. I did check it out for phase and all that sort of stuff in that video, but I did not check it out for frequency response. So that's what we're going to use the NanoVNA to do today. And I don't expect it to be perfect. I mean, it's just a little project that I did in a few minutes. But if it's plus or minus 3 dB over pretty well DC to 1 gigahertz, I'll be perfectly happy with it. If not, I'll live with it anyway. Let's go on here with the NanoVNA. Now, I picked this up about, I guess it could be close to a year and a half ago now. And I think I've used it twice. The reason is, to me, it's a pain to use. Literally, the VNA takes about 10 times longer to set up for a measurement than it does to actually take the measurement. So a little history on this. So I think I paid about $100 for it. Yeah, I think it's $100 back when I first got it. And that's US dollars. And I see now from the same people on AliExpress that I got it from, and I'll leave a link below if you want to go have a look at it. It's now down to like $53, this very same one. So I don't know if it's been superseded by something. I mean, this one here is the VNA H with the 4-inch screen on it, or 4.3 inch actually. And it is the genuine item. If you look here, you can see it's made by Zinco in China, which are the preferred manufacturer of it, and it was sold through the CC store, and that's the one I linked to down below there if you guys are interested. Let's set this thing up here to measure this device. So we're going to need our two little cables here, and we're going to need to adapt these. This is BNC, so I'm going to have to put these estimated BNC adapters on here. And on the other one too. This here is a short standard, this is a load standard, this is an open standard, and this is a through standard barrel connector. Now the type of measurement is called an S21 measurement. I'm not really a VNA expert, but what I believe that means is that it's going to have an excitation coming out here out of port 1. And coming into port 2, it's going to read the results of going through. We've got to do an open calibration, a short, a load, an isolation calibration, and then a through calibration. Before we even get to that point, we need to set up some other parameters. So we need to set up the stimulus frequencies, so that the start and stop frequencies. We've got to set the display for what trace we want and what that trace is set up to do. Let's just get started on it. We'll turn it on here. Main, and let's set up the stimulus first. I want to we'll start this maybe at 10 kilohertz, and then we go back in again, and then we go to stop frequency. I want to see if this will go up to 1 gigahertz, so we'll put in a stop frequency of 1.2 gigahertz. We got that here, 10 kilohertz up to 1.2 gigahertz. Now we've got to set up the display. So again, we go in here, let's go back to the main menu and go into display, trace, and we can see all these are turned on. So we'll turn them off, just double click on them, and that'll turn them off. And now we're left with just the one. Okay, and we can see here we need to set this up for S21. Log mag is currently set up for S11, so we're going to get out of here. Okay, so let's set it now to S21. Format through, log mag, phase. Okay, so all that, I think all that's fine. Let's go back out here. And I want to put some markers so we could do some measurements. We'll go into marker here. Now by default, we only usually get one marker. So I'm going to add in a couple more markers. So select marker. So we'll just add in marker 2 and marker 3. And it should be good enough. Let's now connect the cabling and do the calibration. Pop these off and pop the cables on. Now all the calibrations need to be done on port 1 except for the through calibration, which goes through down to port 2 here. So let's start off here. We've got to do the calibrations in the right sequence. We go to calibrate, and we go to calibrate. First of all, we're going to use this because the gender of all my standards is the same gender as the cable here, so we'll use the through standard to connect all the other standards. So we do the open, okay, and we remove that. We put the short on, and click short, and that's done. And we do the load. Then we do the isolation. Then we do the through. Just connect these together. And then we're done. Okay, so now you can see up there we got a nice straight line across there. Wonderful. And now we're ready to actually test the device. So let's do that. So I want to put the load on one of the outputs here, because this only works if it's properly loaded on both outputs. And then the in, actually maybe we'll go this way so we can see what we're connecting up here. So the in will go there from port 1, and then the out will go down to port 2. And there we go. So what do we have here? Okay, it's supposed to have an insertion loss of 6 dB. So that would be M1 here. And we have 6.16 dB. And let's have a look now. It drops down a little bit and then drops down a bit more. Let's go over here. Put this one on the lowest point here. And we can see that M3 is down at minus 8.2 dB. And that little dip down there is down at 6.9 dB. So while it's within 3 dB, in fact, it looks like it's around about 2 dB variance over the entire range. I consider that pretty good for a little do-it-yourself project that only took a few minutes to build. All right, so that's it. That's how we do an S21 measurement within NanoVNA. And as you can see, the actual measurement itself was the smallest part of the whole experience. And that's why I tend not to use it. You might have more use for it than I do. Now, I'm not an RF guy, I'm not a radio guy, I'm getting into it slowly, and maybe I'll find more uses for it down along the line. But it's still pretty daunting to sit there and realize that I'm going to have to spend 5 minutes setting this thing up just so I can take a 30-second measurement. So yeah, I think they're, something like a full-size one, I think probably great for production, because this one you can store a bunch of setups in it if you want, but I don't know what the purpose of that would be for somebody like me. Like, will I ever have to test something like this exactly like that again? So what's the point in saving that setup? But if you had a production line where you're having let's say you're building these devices and you needed to test them at the end so they'll give it a little certification with it, well, it'd be very handy to have a configuration set up, and then you could enable that configuration, test the entire production run of this one after another, print out the results and provide them with it. And that to me would be a perfect use for a VNA, is in an environment like that, a production environment, testing the products that you build. Or in an environment where you're trying to design a cutting edge RF product. You can do all sorts of tests with the VNA, and then it's possibly worth the effort to take up 50% of your day just setting up the equipment for different tests, and the rest doing the tests and documenting them. Because in the long run, you're going to have a product that you can sell, and you just charge sufficiently for the product, and you'll get your money back. For the hobbyist, I don't know, I wouldn't go beyond something like this, to tell you the truth. And the price has become more attractive, $53. I would say, yeah, it's great as a toy at that price. At twice that price, like I said, I'm not unhappy I bought it. I don't use it that much. See you in the next video, folks. Bye-bye.